So I have my graphite mixed up, and as you can see it's quite a bit thicker, and that's about where we want it. And that was probably half of that little tube that I put in here. So the next process is we just go ahead and dip our wire in. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up this spoon and come back with showing you how I dip my wires. So we have our tube in here, or our graphite in here. What I'm doing is I'm just reaching down and grabbing a blob of it. And that's really all we need is right there. So this is going to be really just as a resistor. And what I'm going to do after this kind of sets up and cures, I've got some additional pyrogen that I've mixed up with some gunpowder and nitrocellulose that I'm going to dip this in as well. So I'm going to let this cure. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of them dipped. And basically what happens here, just kind of for the record, let's see if I can get it to focus, is there's a small gap between those two wires, and as you apply voltage, that the graphite acts as a resistor and heats that up. So really the only thing that gets hot is the material that's between those two wires. But we need something to sustain the burn long enough and create enough heat and gas to actually ignite our motors. So that's why I use, I've got my fine black powder here, and I've got some nitrocellulose with gunpowder in it. Or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix some additional stuff up here really quick with that cup. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dip the rest of these, and I'll be back very shortly. So the thing about this Cat 5 cable is that we see if I can get it to focus. Is that the wires are not bonded to each other, right? So what you have to do is you have to basically separate them. So that they're not touching, but you don't want them so close, or you don't want them touching each other, but you want them close enough that you don't have so much material in there it takes too much amperage and volts to actually heat the material to the point of ignition. So what I do is I just kind of twist the stuff together, just kind of squeezing it ever so slightly every so often, until I get about the distance that I need. There I go, and then I'll go ahead and dip that. So what this particular little clip here about is I wanted to show you I've dipped 3 of my igniters, and I'm letting them hang upside down. The reason being is that the nitrocellulose and graphite is rather viscous, and it will basically run. So by hanging them upside down, when it runs and it pools, as you can see, it's going to pool at the point where we have our wires exposed, so that we always have good contact with that material. All right. So here we are the next day. This is the single dip of the nitrocellulose and graphite. There's no additional pyrogen. I wanted to just test this and record it so you can see how it goes. So as you can see, it definitely got hot, but there wasn't enough on there. See if I can get it to focus. There basically wasn't enough on here to actually, or enough material on there to actually sustain burn. So what we need to do, there you go, there's a little bit of it. So what we need to do is we need to put a additional pyrogen on there to get it to sustain ignition. So the next video here is of the Cat 5 cable, and I have this cable that I've dipped in the nitrocellulose acetone mix, and then just dipped it quickly into the gunpowder, the finely ground gunpowder. So I want to show you how this goes. 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, that was a successful burn. And and it burned all the way through the, see if I can get it to, so this iPhone is great, but it's not great for focusing. Anyway, so there's the burn after I've dipped it in the gunpowder versus without the without the gunpowder. I hope you guys have found this useful. Have a good day. So what I have here is a single grain. This is the end cut. It's probably an 1.5 inches. That I've drilled. I put my pyrogen in like I normally do on my motors. This is my igniter that we just made. This is the nitrocellulose mix with the graphite, that single dip, and then a single dip into nitrocellulose, and then a single dip into the black powder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignite this grain just to show you how well these actually do work. So I'm going to set it down, kind of step back and set it off. So let me get it set up and I'll come back with the video. Alright, so here we go. Nice blue flame. There you go.